about 89 seconds later, and I give the microphone back to Des. Thank you. Hop off stage, and the band go, well, see you around. I went, okay, see ya. And I leave, and as I'm walking to my car, I said to myself, damn, I was in Black Flag for 90 seconds. That was probably one of the highest points in my life besides losing my virginity. My high school girlfriend, she said, okay, whoa! And I did that. And then the other high point, besides seeing Led Zeppelin, was that 90 seconds of Black Flag. And I get back in my car, completely awake now, driving down to D.C. like, damn, man, I'm going to talk about that for the rest of my life. And I go to work, and then the next day after that, I'm back at work. And the phone rings, and it's Greg Ginn of Black Flag. And he said, hey, it's Greg from Black Flag. I said, how'd you get this number? And he said, I don't know. Someone else gave it to him. And so he said, look, we're still in New York, and we're auditioning singers. Because Des, he doesn't want to be a singer. He's kind of a guitar player, and we had him sing, but he really wants to play rhythm guitar. So we're looking for singers, and that thing you did the other night was pretty cool. You want to come back up here and audition? And I said, for what? He said, for singer. And then I immediately took stock of my life up to that point. I could get on an Amtrak train and go 3.5 hours north and be humiliated by members of Black Flag and never be able to go to see that band again, having failed so miserably, looking at another singer who got that job instead of me. I could risk all, or I could go back to the ice cream store over and over again. I was in one of those amazing moments where I truly had nothing to lose. It was perhaps one of the last times in my life where I really had nothing to lose but my life itself. And so I said, I'm on my way. And he gave me a location of where they were going to be the next morning, and I agreed to meet them there. Got the day off, took an Amtrak train up at the crack of dawn, meet them at a place called Odessa. It's a big Polish diner in the East. See, she remembers. Well, we liked it, maybe for the same reason you did, my dear. Cheap prices, big food, and they're very, very nice people. And so I met them at Odessa, and they're in the back of the place. I said, so I don't really understand, because I'm still in a mild state of disbelief. What are we really doing? And they said, we are about to go to a practice place. You're going to be given a microphone, and we're going to play a bunch of songs, and you're going to get through as best you can, and that's the deal. I was like, well, damn, okay. I'd like to see that, because I still don't believe it. And about an hour later, we're at a very small practice place called Mikasa. And so we're at Mikasa, and there I am, holding this microphone with a band behind me, holding guitars and drumsticks, and basically asking me to call the tune. And I'll never forget this. I literally pinched my arm, like this is not happening. I'm dreaming, and I'm going to wake up. Pinch, still, the band is still staring at me. So we played 2 sets. And in those days, Black Flag did not have many songs on record, and so the lyrics were not known to me. It was the longest and strangest improv of my life. I basically yelled, howled, and acted out for about an hour and a half. I went through birth, death, the whole thing, all the aggression from years pent up in high school, all laid to bear in that small rehearsal room. And we kind of came to the end, and the man said, okay, we're going to go in a room and have a band meeting, and we'll be back in a while. I said, okay. And so they went away, and I figured this would be hours. It was about 8 minutes. And I'm sitting in front of this practice place, and they came out, and there's no drum roll, no ceremony whatsoever. They said, okay, so you're in. I said, I'm in what? They said, you're in Black Flag. I said, what do you mean? Because you have to understand, I was barely 20, and this is the hugest possible news. This is the only job I ever really wanted. I never wanted to be a fireman. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm not putting down firemen. I'm just saying I never said, I'm going to be a fireman. I never wanted to be an astronaut. And that I never said, one day I'm going to be. I just said, I just want to live. I didn't really have any big-ass plans. I'm not a visionary. I was very herd-like. I just wanted to be liked. I was not innovative. I was not creative to any extent whatsoever. I was just pissed. Like a lot of you at that age, just mad. At what? At anything. I get up in the morning and I'm mad at all of it. You know, and so I was just, huh? And they said, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to go back home. Pack up all your little worldly belongings. take this flyer that has our tour itinerary on it, find yourself on that tour as fast as you can, because we are headed west to go to Los Angeles. I said, then what happens? He says, then we go into the studio and we record the first Black Flag album. And I said, well, what does that have to do with me? They said, you are the singer on that album. I said, really? They said, do you want this job or not? And I went, yeah. And they said, good. Here's the lyrics. This massive passel of notebook papers thrust into my hand. And they said, goodbye. And I get on an Amtrak train in stunned disbelief, going south towards Washington, D.C. Union Station, looking at the lyrics for the first time, seeing what these maniacs were really saying in these songs. And there were two geniuses at work. There was Greg Ginn giving you all the hits, TV Party, No Value, Six Pack, all of the I'm Lonely, I Must Kill You kind of songs, feeling kind of depressed, all of that. And then there's Chuck Dukowski with his New World Order, Orwell, Nietzschean dreams of an apocalyptic future. And so I'm reading these lyrics like, I have no idea how I'm going to handle it. The Dukowski lyrics, I had no understanding of what the hell he meant. I was to learn later, as he would brand these ideals into my brain pan for hours of inculcation in the van over countless thousands of miles. So we're all going to die, and nothing's worth anything, so we might as well just torch the Western world. That's right, Henry, now you're catching on. And so, anyway, I get back down to Washington, and I must go into my job and issue my boss this revelatory news. I'm out of here! And it was very hard to face him, because he is my friend to this day. And I said, Steve, I'm not exactly quitting, but I'm leaving. And he said, I'll give you $4.25 an hour. I go, no, thank you for the offer of a pay raise, but it's really not a financial constraint, because I have a feeling of where I'm going is going to be very bereft of cash. And was I right about that. Anyway, I said, no, look, here's what happened. And I explained the last 24 hours to him, and he went, wow, that's a hell of a thing. I said, look, boss, this is my shot, and I gotta go take this. And he said, you know what? You do. And congratulations. And if it doesn't work out for you, Henry, it won't. You can come back here, and we'll give you a shot at we'll consider reemployment. I went, wow, I'm about to leave an apartment, a crappy car, a job which I kind of don't like that much, but a boss I really do like. And I'm going to throw it all away for, as they say, the dream. And so I called my pal Ian, and Ian said, where have you been for the last, whatever? I said, look, man, here's what happened. I didn't have time to talk to you, and this is before cell phones. And I said, look, man, here's what happened. And I said, what do you reckon? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, should I join this band or not? He said, you told him you're going to join. I said, yeah, but I got to hear it from you, man. Because I don't know how many of you had your own mind. When I was very young, I didn't. I would go anywhere where the herd would go. I just wanted people to like me. And so if all 8 of my stupid friends were smashing their faces into walls, I would gleefully run at that wall with them. And there's one guy who would stand watching all of us smash our faces into the wall in the whatever summer of 1975 or something, and that was Ian. And he you're being stupid, you're running into a wall. But we're all doing it! How come you won't? Because I think for myself. You suck! No, I think for myself. You suck. And after about a year of him just saying, no, I think differently, we all would get up every morning, every summer vacation. What are we going to do today? I don't know. Let's go to Ian's house and ask Ian what we're doing today. And he became the youth leader. And by age 16, I knew he was on his way to great things. And I was right about that. He started a label called Discord. He started some band called Minor Threat. He is one of the most universally known and influential people in the independent music world. And that is indisputable. It is bomb-proof. It is unassailable fact. And that's my pal Ian. And to this day, he is this amazing dude. Now, an incredible father and a really visionary, smart guy who never jumps at anything. Me, I'll jump at any damn thing. Impulsive, compulsive, stupid, shoot my mouth off before I even know what I'm going to say. I'm a spastique. He is the eye of calm. And so he said to me, Henry, are you kidding? That's the best thing Black Flag ever did was pick you. You are the guy for the job. You're going to be perfect at this. You got to be in this band. And I would love to tell you that I was 98% there, and Ian gave me the 2% shove to get me over. But quite the opposite is true. I was about 2% there, and Ian said, you should do this. That was the 98% shove. I said, well, then I guess I packed up. And he goes, yeah, and I take you to the bus station. When do you want me to go? I said, I'll book the ticket. I'll do the whole thing. And he did. And I still have that bus ticket, and I still have Ian's handwritten instructions how he had to get me down to the bus station. Because no GPS in the car. You know, he got the instructions. He put me in his ancient 9-ton duster and drove me down there and said, I guess I'll see you on stage. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I jumped onto this Greyhound, and I got out in Detroit. And that was June or July of 1981. And since then, I have had one of the most unconventional lives of anyone I have ever